Republican Donald Trump sweeps to victory as the 47th U.S. President and announces to make his second term as the golden era of America. Bangladesh President and Chief Advisor greet the newly elected U.S. President, hoping that Trump's win will take bilateral ties to a new height. European Union pledges all possible support to the interim government of Bangladesh in its reform initiatives and fight against corruption. Adequate amount of funds allocated for importing essential commodities including rice, sugar and wheat during Ramadan and fertilizers, says Finance and Commerce Advisor. Taka 17.5 lakh crore laundered during the 1.5 decades of fascist Awami League. Economists urge to stop money laundering along with bringing criminals under law. Protests erupt in Israel after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu fires the country's defense minister Yoav Gallant. And Bangladesh batting with a target of 236 runs for victory against Afghanistan in the first ODI of three-match series in Sharjah. Assalamu alaikum viewers, this is News at 10 on BTV and BTV World. I am Imtiaz Ahmed Siddiqui. You just heard the headlines. Let's move on to the detailed stories. Republican candidate Donald Trump became the 47th President of the United States. According to final results, Trump bagged 279 Electoral College votes, while his rival Kamala Harris got 219 votes. Donald Trump claimed the victory, saying he has an unprecedented mandate. It's a political victory that our country has never seen before, Trump told a victory party in Florida. As supporters chanted USA, the 78-year-old added that his magnificent win would allow us to make America great again. Trump pledged to bring a golden age to the United States, praising what he called the greatest political movement of all time. His Democratic rival Kamala Harris has not yet conceded and is expected to speak later in the day. Jubilation had already been building through the night in the Republican president's camp, with key allies flying to his base in Florida as the first two swing states of Georgia and North Carolina were called for Mr. Trump. Trump is the first president in more than a century to win a non-consecutive second term. He is also the only person to be elected as a convicted felon. He will face sentencing in a New York court for fraud on November 26. Trump is on course to break another record as the oldest ever sitting president during his four-year term. He will surpass Biden, who is set to step down in January at the age of 82. The dollar surged, stocks rallied and Bitcoin struck a record high Wednesday as news of his victory emerged. Many of the world leaders already congratulated Donald Trump for his being elected new president of the United States. The UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer congratulated Trump and said, "As the closest of allies, we stand shoulder to shoulder in defense of our shared values of freedom, democracy and enterprise." French President Emmanuel Macron congratulated Mr. Trump on X. "Congratulations, President Donald Trump," Macron wrote. Among others who congratulated Donald Trump at the very early of winning stage are Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, Dutch far-right leader Geert Wilders and former Austrian Prime Minister Scott Morrison. Meanwhile, Bangladesh President Mohammad Shahabuddin and Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus congratulated Donald Trump for his historic win in the U.S. presidential election. In a congratulatory message, Professor Mohammad Yunus conveyed his heartfelt felicitations on behalf of the government and the people of Bangladesh to Donald Trump on his victory in the U.S. presidential election 2024. Professor Yunus said electing Trump as the U.S. president for a second term reflects that his leadership and vision have resonated with the people of the United States of America. The chief advisor said he is confident that under Trump's stewardship, the United States will thrive and continue to inspire others around the world. Recalling the existing excellent relations between Bangladesh and the US, Professor Yunus said Bangladesh and the United States share a long history of friendship and collaboration across numerous areas of mutual interests. The relationship continued to grow in depth and breadth during Trump's previous term in office, he said. Looking forward to work together to further strengthen partnership and foster sustainable development, the chief advisor said he firmly believes that the possibilities are endless as the two friendly nations work towards exploring newer avenues of partnership. Professor Yunus conveyed his best wishes to Trump's success and said, aligning with commitment to a peaceful and inclusive society, the government and the peace-loving people of Bangladesh look forward to collaborate in Trump's efforts in addressing the global challenges in the pursuit of peace, harmony, stability and prosperity for all. Briefing reporters on contemporary issues at the Foreign Service Academy this evening, Chief Advisor Space Secretary Shafiqul Alam said the interim government of Bangladesh welcomed Donald Trump on his election as the 47th President of the United States. He said the government hopes that Bangladesh's relations with the USA would reach a newer height under the leadership of Donald Trump.
বিবিসি, সিএনএন, নিউ ইয়র্ক টাইমস জানিয়েছে যে ডোনাল্ড ট্রাম্প আবার ইউএসএর প্রেসিডেন্ট হয়েছেন। আমরা আমাদের তরফ থেকে তাকে স্বাগত জানাই এবং আমরা আশা করি যে ডোনাল্ড ট্রাম্পের ভিক্টরিতে বাংলাদেশের সাথে ইউএসএর যে সম্পর্ক সেটা আরও উচ্চ শিখরে যাবে। বাংলাদেশের সাথে ইউএসএর অলরেডি একটি ভালো সম্পর্ক আছে। অগাস্ট রেভলিউশনের পরে এটা আরও একটু ভিন্ন মাত্রা এসেছে, কারণ ইউএস সারা বিশ্বে তারা চায় যে বিশ্ব যে ডেমোক্রেসিতে থাকুক, বিশ্বের দেশগুলো সবাই ডেমোক্রেসি চর্চা করুক। এবং ওরা দেখছে যে আগে যে 15 বছর অটোক্রেটিক রেজিম ছিল, ডিক্টেটরশিপ ছিল, সেই জায়গা থেকে যে এই গভর্নমেন্টে আসছে তার প্রধান কাজটা হচ্ছে দেশকে ডেমোক্রেটিক ট্রানজিশনে নেওয়া এই ইন্টারিম গভর্নমেন্টের। সেই জন্য তারা উদ্বুদ্ধ হয়ে বাংলাদেশের সাথে কাজ করা আরও বাড়িয়ে দিয়েছেন এবং আমরা আশা করছি ডোনাল্ড ট্রাম্পের এই প্রেসিডেন্সিতে বাংলাদেশের সাথে সম্পর্ক আরও গভীর হবে। আর প্রফেসর ইউনুস আপনি জানেন তার সাথে ডেমোক্রেট পার্টি, রিপাবলিকান পার্টি সবার সাথে খুব ভালো সম্পর্ক আছে এবং তাদের টপ লিডারদের অনেকের সাথে তার ব্যক্তিগত বন্ধুত্ব আছে। আমরা আশা করি যে তার যে সম্পর্কটা সেটা আরও এখন তো যেটা হবে যে স্টেট টু স্টেট, ট্রাম্প নো লঙ্গার এখন রিপাবলিকান পার্টি লিডার, উনি ইউনাইটেড স্টেটসের লিডার। তো বাংলাদেশের সাথে ইউএসএর যে সম্পর্কটা এরা আরও গভীরতর হবে।
The European Union is ready to support Bangladesh's interim government headed by Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus in every possible way in its reform initiatives and fight against corruption. Director of Asia and Pacific Department of European External Action Service, Paola Pampeloni, expressed the readiness of the European countries to support Bangladesh when she called on the Chief Advisor at his office in Dhaka today. The ambassador and head of delegation of the European Union to Bangladesh, Michael Miller, was present on the occasion. The message is very clear. The European Union is with you. EU want to support your reform, Pampeloni told the chief advisor, confirming the support of 27 member states of the European Union for Bangladesh. Pampeloni said that there will be no shortage of funds for reform and there will also provide Bangladesh's interim government with technical support for accomplishing the job. The chief advisor appreciated the gesture and recalled his meeting with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York in September, when the two discussed ways and means for supporting Bangladesh. He pointed out that von der Leyen had pledged to help Bangladesh combat corruption and the country's transition towards renewable energy with its vast experience in the fields. The EU official urged Bangladesh to create more investment opportunities which would create more jobs and increase trade. Ambassador Miller told the chief advisor that the Vice President of European Investment Bank was planning to visit Bangladesh in January to explore more business opportunities with Bangladesh. The chief advisor reassured the European Union officials about Bangladesh's commitment to labor rights reform, which would pave the way for bringing more investment. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus has urged Brazil to work more closely with Bangladesh for increasing bilateral cooperation in different fields, including trade. The Chief Advisor made the call when Brazilian Ambassador to Bangladesh, Paulo Ferres, called on him at his office in Dhaka today. Ambassador Ferres told the Chief Advisor that Brazil and Bangladesh have many areas of cooperation unexplored, which can be potentially a boom for two countries. Ambassador Ferres said Brazil can also export meat to Bangladesh without affecting the local market, and it can be a good source of protein for Bangladeshi people. He also identified green energy, education, defense, agriculture and science as potential areas of cooperation. The Chief Advisor requested Brazil to send a delegation to the upcoming Youth Festival in Dhaka next January. Two brothers of Shahid Abu Saeed met Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus at the State Guest House Jamuna in Dhaka today. The brothers brought salam and a message of good wishes from their parents, saying they were moved to tears when Professor Yunus spoke about the sacrifice of Abu Saeed and the other martyrs in his historic speech in the United Nations General Assembly in New York in September. Ramzan Ali, elder brother of Abu Saeed, told Professor Yunus that they were honored that he highlighted Abu Saeed's heroic role in the revolution and also visited their village in Rangpur just a day after he had become the chief advisor. The two brothers shared the podium with Professor Mohammad Yunus when the Presidential Guard Regiment PGR gave the guard salute to the chief advisor. During the meeting, they briefed the Chief Advisor about the case over Abu Saeed's murder, saying they want justice and exemplary punishment to the people who were responsible for the killing. The brothers said they would set up a foundation named after their slain brother. They said they want to build a model mosque and a medical college at their village in memory of their slain brother, and they have made the appeal to the two ministries for help in this regard. The foundation will work for the poor and the victims of the July-August mass uprising, Abu Hussein said. Professor Yunus assured all possible support for the family of Abu Saeed. He said the interim government has ordered police to expedite the investigation into his murder and ensure justice. Bangladesh will never forget Shahid Abu Saeed and what he has done for the nation. His sacrifice played a big role in the mass uprising against the dictatorship, the chief advisor said. He pledged to stand by the family, saying his doors will always remain open for them. Bangladesh turned into a sanctuary for siphoning of money to different countries due to lack of good governance and institutionalized corruption during the 15th year of the Awami League tenure. Data shows that a total of taka, approximately 17.5 lakh crore, was laundered to different countries. According to investigations of the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC, around 50 ministers, MPs amassed huge money in the past 15 years, and a major portion was laundered to different countries including Switzerland, UK, USA, Malaysia, Canada and the United Arab Emirates. Economists say Bangladesh turned into a center for siphoning of money as there was a weak administration, lack of surveillance and political goodwill. They stress the need for bringing the culprits to book to establish good governance. Economists also put emphasis on bringing back the laundered money, even though it is a difficult task. Of course, there is an example of bringing back $30 lakh from Singapore. Home Advisor Lieutenant General Retired Mohammad Jahangir Alam Chaudhary reiterated that no criminals would be spared. Government is in no way will spare any criminal, how powerful they may be, irrespective of their party affiliation, he said. He was speaking to journalists at the Secretariat after coming out of a special meeting to review the law and order situation in Dhaka metropolitan areas. The Home Advisor asked the law enforcers to stop all kinds of extortions. Replying to a question about the agenda of the meeting, he also said they have discussed how the law and order in Dhaka could be improved further. He said law and order situation in Dhaka have improved a lot compared to the past, but there is still a scope to improve it further. referring to security measures taken for further development of the law and order situation in Mohammedpur area. He said they would replicate the Mohammedpur model in other areas. The Home Advisor asked all concerned to evict shops set on the roads and restrict battery-driven rickshaws from plying on the main streets. But he cleared that he only asked to remove shops from the roads but not from the footpaths, while replying to a question. Representatives from the Army, Police, Rapid Action Battalion and Border Guard Bangladesh BGB were present at the meeting. Finance and Commerce Advisor Salahuddin Ahmed has said sufficient fund has been allocated for importing essentials, including rice, sugar and wheat, during the holy month of Ramadan. He said this at a briefing after a meeting of Food Planning Committee at the Secretariat today. Food Secretary Masoodul Hassan informed that 10 lakh tons of rice and paddy will be procured in the next almond season. The meeting also decided to import chickpeas, pulses, edible oil and dates so that the price of these commodities does not rise during the coming Ramadan. The meeting informed that boiled rice and paddy would be collected during November 17 to February 28. BNP Acting Chairman Tariq Rahman has said the fallen autocrats has not yet stopped their conspiracy to force the incumbent government to fail amidst the current situation of the country. He said this while addressing a discussion marking the 7 November National Revolution and Solidarity Day at Engineers Institution in the capital today. Presided over by BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir, the function was attended by party's central and city unit leaders. Tariq Rahman also mentioned that the people are still having the bad effects of the misrule of the fallen autocrat. Lessons should be learned from the past to protect the independence, he added. Hearing has begun on the appeal against death reference and judgment of Judicial Court in the 10 truck arms case. The hearing began today in the High Court bench of Justice Mustafa Zaman Islam and Justice Nasreen Akhtar. Lawyer S.M. Shah Jahan pleaded for former State Minister for Home Lutfuzzaman Babar and former DGFI DG Razakul Haider. In the hearing, the lawyer said that charges in the deposition were faulty. Besides, they were lacking in the data and statistics. He also claimed that punishing the accused would be contrary to fair trial. Meanwhile, the High Court has cancelled the order of the release of 15 accused, including former Awami League MP Dr. H.B.M. Iqbal and ex-MP Nurun Nabi Chaudhary Shaun in the case of killing 4 people in broad daylight during attacks on a BNP procession at Chamili Bagh in the capital on 13 February in the year 2001. After the order, they have been asked to surrender in the Judicial Court. The High Court bench, comprising Justice Mustafizur Rahman and Justice Sogir Hussain, gave the order. And now international news.